So it's called Time Turns to the Emotions. Emotionally touched by innermost feelings that comforts our soul. For our given brethren that collectively gather in these times of needs, and in these times that we be, in those moments that we breathe in the fresh new air that flows in the breeze as we breathe with our brethren. Therefore, as we awoken from the emotional touch and presence to be free to see in our lives, and every waking day and the close of night, that we feel awakened in the pivotal moments of our lives, so that we may feel alive, the taste of fresh air that touches our hearts and minds, and it is captured in our soul, is released so we may take in more of what we need and what we take out of our surroundings that is given back to the innermost feelings that touches us, like the air we breathe. And it gives us a sense of be alive across all spectrums of life, pass through the winds to restore our given perspective of the moments of the highest and lowest price of self worth, and to breathe and the air we breathe in at the cost of our lives. That is the cost of everything to us. So that so it's, everything to us, and this means so much to our lives that we give everything. But however and whenever the waking to see and the close of the night to be, this at the cost of everything, to be free at the cost of everything, and everyone has to be a part. As is just a part, and this is just a part of life that comes apart, and this cannot be to live. We cannot live without, and we can that can and that may be alive to see the air we breathe in and out is free as the breeze, the breeze, as free as the breeze in the air, as you see that this is free. It comes to be within and throughout the flow of life and our surroundings. Everything we go through this is free, and maybe it's the breeze we breathe, and maybe controlling factor of emotions that creates the emotions of life to see what take in and out of our surroundings. And we're free as to breathe in and touches our souls and releases. So we may be free, and as you may see and give us life. Then you swipe it anyway, but it's pretty good. Anyways, then there's moments that we may be the first to see appears in the clouds of perception is caught in their eyes and look through their skies, and the reasons why we are caught up in the times of beautiful moments of parallel adventures that we see through our eyes in the environment that comes and goes, in the windows, in the winds, that comes a source that will force us to change our ways. Therefore, as we see ourselves in the breeze to what this, and as we always gather through ourselves in the wind that was caught up in those turbulent times. But it's how you brace yourself in the face of disaster, the one that takes you and make you feel the breeze flow that carries you throughout the time and through the time of past, the memories of almost forgotten times and place through the memory lane, a trail of tales of when things were different in the air as as our tides of time, tales tales that takes thee on a different time, that flies where the wind takes thee in a different time as those moments appear and come about in the winds that take you and got you caught up in the emotional ride of life through the emotions of our needs. It opens the windows and doors that lets in the fresh air. They may replenish our lives in the view of the views that blow on through those doors that were closed, and the windows that were not open, and the world to know is open to up to you to see yourself and gather in your thoughts in your building process on the new or old points that rush through those windows and doors that open the views, the world of our life. This may touch your people's lives along the way, and it travels the life of your education along and gather the momentum of a never-ending search for knowledge in a world that has moments of our wiser moments. We embrace ourselves for more as in story the glory of another story of opening a mind to new point of views. We may have fell down at first to try to capture the moment in the winds, but constant change, however, but the winds of constant change. However, it may appear that you've learned something along those roads of mistakes to pull the brakes and stop you from your worst case scenarios. That will always be the prediction of predicaments. There's always a prediction of when the predicaments of the unknown were actually clear to see. But this may have made you dumbfounded. The answers, the answers that were not clear to find in the search of your mind and find the conclusive to see the unknown eyes. So again, the winds change and the stories may appear, and they will go, and they may, or you may be able to answer the unanswered. And as we go along the ride, the surprise that we go through along the way, through our journeys, and when we try to live your life in a better form and functional way, an environment is a point of views of demeanor as we find our proper in our settings and how we may behave in the standards of comfort. And when we look back at how it was in the past as well, how it was our forebears lived and built upon what our forebears went through in the process to get to where they are today, where you're at today, and the progress of one's self-worth. To be in comfort with your life, that's only what you know. And and you may now know how to accomplish and you may know how to accomplish this. And this may make you feel comfortable and you may have learned from the behaviors that are about yourself and taking the roads of life when you notice your surroundings. And that's in their needs to be successful to go through the flow and with you will inadvertently in some form of functional way travel through with ease and rush through lives, rush through our lives, and we should always guide you, and this should always guide you through life as you are in the winds that take thee, and you should always be ready when the winds change to the seasons as the goals in life succeed in a season of success and improve in any land and with a plan with so you may please in the actions of progress in the world that you may lift you up or tear you down emotionally as you see where the winds take thee on the ride for success and ease of trouble of mind and take worried thoughts away and around you an example of where you are and standing on the standards of stood for the need for to fill in our wants and provide in the moments of need, that this might only be one of many things to bring in joy through our lives. And likewise, is not without the clues to improve the standard within ourselves. It carries the world on your shoulders when thick, when in the thick, thin, and the as the wind, as thin as the winds take thee in your journeys, on your journeys, on your journey. So what you build through your time only come down in the winds of change. Thus, for once again, and look forward throughout those winds of change that blew down the barriers of despair. And while we stand with pride, we must brace ourselves to stand up and what's right, so we may be proud of what we stood for and stand to, and what is in the wind, as we feel as though we're forced to change the direction to get back on track, to force the natural progression of regression that spills over into our lives. And while as times, as winds of time, as we are still connected to the past and the past events that still lives in me, even when the winds take me on another area of life. And that is so that we are connected to those surroundings that are around you. And as you may see, to be as we are all in search for some form of peace, or to be at peace with our surroundings. And this piece of ourselves that holds the pieces together is a symbol of peace that's released in the breeze that touches our hearts and minds, and the wind that holds us together before the moments are lost to pieces, and before these moments are torn down by those things that resent in some reason, for some time, no apparent reason other than the clouds of perception that may be blocking your light of reality. It's forecasted to use the clouds of the sky of reality that we may have just locked away ourselves in darkness. Because when it rains, it may pour, and our tears pour out in the innermost emotions, the clouds of perceptions. But then again, an obstructed views change over time and anticipate through the times ways the heels and winds of change. Otherwise, breeze through these moments of perceptions for a look, the hard roads that might take you to get you through today, and in the memories in the hands, the tide of change, with the winds that take those cloudy days away, and through and where they take thee in the breeze that moves in the winds of change. And sometimes would like to you would like to move on to something we else, and we would like to go back to those days in a way to see a more tranquil, peaceful time and place. Then in time we may see the clock rewind through the wind of change, of, of time, to see the wise decisions that were made by our that were made, so we may counteract to those bad decisions that were made in the sense of when we were wise, to look back at our counterclockwise, to realize we cannot change what was done, but we only use the information and then move on and go back to better time only in the nostalgic rewind of ourselves. However, in the wise in our eyes, to counter react to what was lacking in the hands of time. Therefore, we would like to wise up beforehand and so forth, and before wiser to be wiser in the future. So we may look forward and go clockwise in times. So you may rewind a different from our difference from a different time as a way to look back only at the hard lessons that were learned and for what was done and for what is and was built for those things that stood for a good time and by those measurements of what is protected, protecting us and our rights, so we may stand in principle of purpose, that we may stood for reason this may or may not work, and we will not stand against what works if it gives us protection and what work and what's right, and if it does not protect what is provided by those that came before thee, and that may be a part of us in the foundation of ourselves. And meaning we are a measurement of ourselves that are measured by past ancestors and what they have built and rebuilt those moments that were good that last a long time. An example of standards for sometimes we for our standards for. And so sometimes we should rebuild what was good again to feel complete again in some form of function. So then, as we try to replicate the moments as it was in the building process, it's just a building process of procedures so that we may adjust to new old ways of the world of like or likewise as we embrace the ideas that everything needs to keep needs upkeep so that we may soar to peace and high as it was in the past and abilities that will allow. And I must allege that from my edge from the edge of existence is another world to build upon and goals and achievements on the other side of existence. And those walk through the steps of life that may take you and walk through the scenarios to get ahead through what we may perceive to be and willpower emotions to you and these feelings of our wants and our rights to go through to win in the right perceptions and stand in planning to rise above those moments that resolve the mission to solve them and when those solved problems we'll tell them to move on and then they're on it and then they're on it's not a problem then it's not a problem but just another step in life. And that's all that's landing the plane, your emotional state of mind. That's at the heart and mind of the matters. However, it depends on if this is what matters in your life. Then, in our wanted life and most form of function, peace and stability, that we always are in search of the calmer days prevail in the worth. We're always time grasp and reach the peace, so on. And this is done so it's not just a waste of time that we reach for and try to reach these things that mean everything and or very little to them in your life. And what helps them you in your life. And their journeys through all times through and in this time has tried to reach your peace and flow through the calm moments of the air and turbulent time of the winds that change the life that stay the same in those calm moments that we may have endured the emotional life to survive the best. Therefore, what pulls or holds the weight to the world on your shoulders is held by yourself. And gravity holds you down to lifting everything up by yourself so as we may work together in unison with the world on your shoulder. You may and to make it better with the unison of equilibrium of spectrum of visions to light up the atmosphere so that it gives the strength Here's the strength. Here's the strength as you may intend to be lifted, to lift up your life, to rise above things, mean everything, or little to you. And you're given moments and giving your best in the world of constant change, or a chance to change the world the better for the better good. And before then, it begins again, so that you may give it your best, and you may lead to success and succeed in ways that need. So you know what needed. An emotional dream, an emotional ride of will be tested. It will be easier time to climb success and stability. You go through and push forward towards emotional highs, and we searching for a plan to reach you and sought for the sense of utopia that never ends. And if you find your heart was searching for the right answer, and the goal was achieved of this matter, because you're in control while you navigate your life and searching out the life that's right for you. This could have control of the factor over your emotional states of how to adapt to those things of change. You may bring into hope and dreams. If the goals are found, they give you a sense of purpose and a course to travel. And this is not an exemption or exception to your journeys to ease is reached because you have to be proved in all conclusive directions as you navigate through the winds that take thee and your dreams and takes you through the life and challenges the winds of change, and everyone else partakes in these journeys will face these challenges in the wind of change. And there's always uphill climbs and valleys to cross in your travels through the rivers, oceans of life that feeds your life with the knowledge of wisdom that crosses your mind, and it travels through the known and unknown areas of life that maybe baffle your mind and how it's done. But but if there's a way through the obstacles that you'll have to make through the necessary navigation to push forward and your uh, towards your accomplishments or non-accomplishment to be completed. And you'll have to find ways to climb to the top of your goals through the hard work and perseverance and achievements that these achievements may achieve, because your rewards are everlasting from where you started out the path of life, and ultimately is a prize that your mindset and knowledge to improve your power, that you will make you think that that you have the solutions, the sense of completions that awards you of another accomplishment. Well done. And you can or will make these improvements of your experiences to be simpler in a time of reflection, in a time and know your mindset is set the right path of life from a given destiny. The pictures that shows the way, how it can be done, but you'll never finish your journey of destinations, and the winds of change. Creativity drives activity of choice in the form it takes you to break it down in a functional manner. It's in the manner of methods of the function of grace, the drive of the real success. You can and will get better with these practices of form and function that intervene with your emotional desires, the information that gets you flowing through the information of practice makes perfect. And this builds a track that guides you through time and space and the creative time in your existence. And how to go back the right emotional drift that might take you back to those memories that they're fond of, and to be able to see and decide and know the kids to like in control of your trail to keep in order a destination through the memories, miss to what you wish you have in your daily life that puts your memories away and down memory lane and may or may not need because the power to think twice of what might be. You want to avoid the time of destination that's always in search of destiny to improve when you need to go in good form and function when you got off track in life. But however, whenever you saw the message in the sand, as long as the message passed the torch back and on back to you, and through the message, the past to see the life of destiny. And when you look forward to those things that need to be pointed out, that you're to be free to see your destination is your last resort of your resourcefulness or choices that you want to be true to your life and should give you happiness and want you to be freely happy and ultimately find your destination that will improve and be helpful to your mind and soul and spirit. And this will improve you the hope that the right change direction and improve your life, and you may improve your forgotten situation. That those things that work should not be forgotten because these gotten into positions for right situations is the hope that you'll do well and earn the wisdom and knowledge that goes away and doesn't go away or does not fade away from the memories that you spent and you applied your attention to. And this is what will not, this was that would come along all the time is with ease. But to make it easy, you might have to think of the best ideas that work. And they need to be in time of when is right in place. And at the time, we must take advantage of our optimum opportunities when needed. Therefore, it's all in the comfort zone as to what is comfortable to your soul, and that is the life is about feeling your emotions of life that may be better than it was. So as you see, or otherwise, when you are wise in knowledge and through the time that you may add to your wisdom. So once again, as you think of those of what you know and what you get from these things in your life that is right. It's just work in practice makes perfect. Even though it may get better than before, and then you get wiser as you get older, and in your thinking you gain knowledge along the way, and you think you be aware of your surroundings better through the emotions of time, and wiser thinker as you know yourself better, and the wise thinker their attitudes and their abilities to pay attention to little details in life that will be going through the emotions to add up to who you are in detail and improve you who you are and pay off with your effort. Clear out the emotion moments that you can convert your negative energy and positive energy by turning your weaknesses into your strengths. Your life is resolved those issues that are difficult that need of great importance. of difficult problems in the quest to find the right answer by looking for the question of the answer, asking the right question with the thought of the answer to be of what you can be to fix these problems. That turns into emotions of the right narrative in the right situation and lessons to be wise. But your eyes that turn through emotions might be filled with tears of the time that has passed together emotional turns in life. So as your scenarios of you and your best guide to find your best answer is found in the right situation to fix your problems. Those the situations of all of this to drive is your inner drive. For your goal is this habit forming and reputation improving everything and every time it passed through the test of emotional trials of when your trials of life, of when you won those moments to bring an emotional uplift of when said and done, you can say you won. Apparently, you got to be motivated to life to get ahead, or you might not find yourself ahead in life at all and behind it, but all is the same climb. So you mind to get ahead. You gotta use your mind to get there. Remember when your emotions land you to plan control of what's in the end to be free in your mind so you can have successfully made your emotions better in a sense of knowledge. And with a little help with your plan, the best emotional lives, emotional feel the best, the way of every